Hi, I'm Nate.
I'm Noah.
And welcome back to another Chats episode of Talking Lion. We just put out a new song called Tendencies with our friends Transviolet, and in this episode, we're talking to Casey Cook, who co-wrote the song with us almost 2 years ago. Casey is an incredible songwriter and artist, and was recently on the show Songland. Here we talk about the process for writing Tendencies, the journey that the song took after we wrote it, and what it's like to be a songwriter and artist in Los Angeles. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and be sure to check out our new single, Tendencies, with Transviolet. So,
Without further ado,
This is Talking Lion.
well, hey,
Hey,
welcome on Talking Lion.
thank you so much.
It's good to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you because usually we run into each other like out and about,
Right.
And we haven't been out and about in a while.
I know. It's crazy.
How are you handling everything in the quarantine?
I've been okay. It's been a lot of like just constant adjustments of figuring out what to do next and trying to keep up with our job as songwriters and as artists. I've learned how to produce in the midst of everything. Not
Oh, that's
super
awesome.
well, but I'm, beginning, so that's been cool.
I feel like everybody, like every songwriter who even just like dabbles with production just becomes that much more like efficient and effective, because then you can just, even if you can't do like the final piece or whatever, you can convey what you want like from your song.
Totally. Yeah, that's been like a big game changer. Like I already feel a difference in that. So that's cool.
I'm a pretty shit producer, but I can talk about it enough to make sure good producers know what I want from something.
That's
you know?
everything. Yeah.
Have you been doing like the FaceTime sessions and stuff?
I did a little bit in the beginning and then I kind of trailed off. I don't know.
They're hard.
They're hard. I want to be
hard.
in the room. I want that energy. I want that, umph of my co-writers being like, yeah, like jumping up and down.
I think it's a vibe. Like so much of writing is just catching the vibe of like what's in the room.
Totally.
And we'll talk about it throughout this episode, but like I feel like so much of Tendencies, I don't even remember necessarily even being in the room. I remember walking around, and just sort of like, feeling out Echo Park and like letting sort of, opening up your head and like seeing what comes in. So I feel like the FaceTime sessions kind of came and went for us.
yeah, it kind of feels like everyone's writing a song alone and you're all just kind of like sharing information. It's like, this is what I'm working on. It's like, well, I'm working on this. And it's like kind of disjointed.
Right.
But yeah, I think the bright side of this, if there is a bright side, is that we were, instead of writing new stuff, we focused on stuff that haunted us. And one of those was Tendencies, which we all wrote together like almost, was it a year and a half ago? Almost 2 years ago?
Yeah,
I don't
like
know.
2 years,
while
I
ago.
think. Yeah.
That's time flies when you're
In a global pandemic.
in a global
Yeah.
pandemic. Yeah.
I feel you on that though. Like revisiting old songs has definitely been what I've been up to as well. Just because you're like, I've got the time. What about all these ideas that are just sitting on a hard drive or just sitting in a voice memo,
Yeah.
Because some of those songs just need a little extra love. Like some of those songs just need like, we just finished up a song called We're Fine, which took us 5 years essentially.
Oh, wow.
Because it just, we never, we kept just like slowly piecing it together,
like
chipping it
away,
together.
Yeah.
Kind of like a woodshed project. It's just like I'm gonna craft a wooden duck.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna touch it once every 5 years.
Right.
I don't know. I've never met anybody who's like working on a wooden duck, but for some reason I was like imagining like it's like working
It's like
on
that guy in
wooden
Minnesota
duck.
who made the largest one-man spun ball of twine.
Oh,
Over 40 years, he rolled one ball of twine, and then it gave him cancer, but he did it anyway. It's
Oh my God.
a true story.
Wow.
Well, I was trying to trace the thread,
Nice.
of how we all met, and I realized it was David Street and the event that he put on, right?
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
Wow.
It was the David Street at BMI
The
put on like the
speed
show and
dating.
tell.
Oh,
Yeah, the
show and
speed
tell.
dating.
Show and tell at the Den, I think.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were all playing it like on speakers.
Yeah, that's right.
And we all had like mutual friends and whatnot. Like it was really encouraged in that room to just talk to everybody, and nobody has to tell me twice.
Right.
Totally.
I'm curious. Actually, I don't know a ton about like your kind of backstory. How are you from LA?
No, I'm from Rhode Island originally, born and raised, and then I went to school in Nashville at Belmont, and then I came
cool.
to LA. Yeah.
Cool. How long have you been in LA for?
I've been in LA almost 5.5 years now.
Wow.
I know.
We're brushing up on 3, which feels like it absolutely flew by.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. We passed through Nashville on the way here because we came down from New York and Boston.
Okay. Yeah, Nashville's great.
I love Nashville. I miss Nashville.
I know, me too. It's fun. It's a fun place.
There's a cool vibe. Though I know a lot of the Nashville people that we liked writing with moved out here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's cool because we wrote Tendencies our first session together.
Yeah.
Do you remember where you were at in your life, or like where we were all at? Because I'm trying to remember what we were writing about, but it felt more just sort of like letting. It wasn't a specific thing. It was kind of letting go of a kind of baggage, or
I think it was like, you want to make it work, but sometimes you just self-sabotage and you have these tendencies to do that. And I think maybe that's where it came from, possibly.
I feel like we were it was a very comfortable session, but we let the session take the time it needed. Like, I think I remember my favorite memory from it was that we were walking around and we went to a taco truck, and we were talking about relationships, the things that just sort of coax the fires of the song and the concept.
Yeah.
And Noah jokingly kind of out of nowhere was like, nobody says when they'll leave you, they just do.
Nobody says when they'll leave you, they just do. In my defense, I thought that you'd be different.
Yeah.
I'm like, we both looked at you. We were like, what?
I remember that because the line came to me and I was like, this is such a dark thing, but I'm gonna say it.
You weren't even writing. You were just talking.
I was just talking. It was like it came to me as a bit, like in the way that when you're in a social situation, you're trying to come up with a joke. I'm like, ooh, that's a good joke.
Yeah.
Which in a sense is similar to songwriting, but my brain wasn't in music. I was just like, nobody says when they'll leave you, they just do. And everyone's like, whoa, that's heavy.
Yeah, I think that was the coolest part about this session was we took so much time to just walk around and eat and just talk. And then the session kind of came together when we got back.
That's the thing. I feel like there are the sessions you remember every painstaking lyric and how for me, the 2 things I can remember about the session was just how nice the vibe was, and Noah saying that line while we were just sort of walking around, and also I think just I had a lot of fun with the post-chorus melody. Da, da, da.
Oh
Yeah, that was
spending a lot of
sick.
time on that.
Because we were all at that point really hype on the Charlie Puth record, and we were like, well, what if the post-chorus melody followed the pre-chorus melody? Because that's what he was doing in a lot of stuff.
Not so sad about it.
I'm curious to see who will notice that when they listen. Who will notice that
Yeah, it's kind of subtle. It's not like an immediately obvious thing.
I definitely feel that. Is there a line that stood out for you in the song and in the process?
I just remember us writing I'm running in circles, maybe I'm insane, keep doing the same thing, thinking I'll change.
I'm running in circles, maybe I'm insane. Keep doing the same things, thinking I'll change.
That was just such a powerful that's insanity. Thinking you're gonna change. No, this is just what it is.
I always get rocked by the flip a little bit, where because it's we often say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, thinking you'll get a different result.
Right.
But here it's do the same thing, thinking I'll be different.
Yeah.
Totally.
And I feel a lot of the Different Plans record, which is what this sort of album this record's sort of turning into, is about kind of self-reflection and habit breaking, essentially.
Totally.
Balance is about not being so chaotic. Tendencies is recognizing repeated patterns.
Just accepting that you are the chaos.
Yeah, and we're fine is a detailed journal entry on each time you made the same mistake.
Yeah.
Oh, consistency for its sake,
Yeah.
Now, when the song was finished, did you think that was it? That was the session, or did you feel like the song had this life going on?
Oh no, I definitely thought the song had life. I'm totally a big believer in the whole process of the song. The reason it took so long is because we wanted to make it great. And like, I'm pretty sure we did like a few revisions just to get the production right, you know, and that's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
that's part of it. And I respect that because, you know, like once you put something out, like it's out. So why not make it the best kind of thing that you can make it?
Well, I remember I would see you out and about and I'd be like, I promise you we're putting it out. I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know.
No, I mean, it's just part of it. Like I try to follow up with all the songs that I write. It's crazy. But, you know, once you see your co-writers out and you're like, hey, like what's going on with that song, you know? But I had faith in it. I don't know. It's a process. The whole songwriting journey is a process. So,
Well, I think the song always did haunt us. Even just like, you know, when I would sit down at the piano, I would play the little post-chorus melody just for
Yeah.
fun, 'cause it was fun to play. But I think the thing that really I love that melody.
that's great.
I think the thing that really hit me was on the demo, and I didn't realize it until after the session was over. Like on the demo, you sounded a lot like Sarah from Transviolet.
Right.
I'm running in circles, maybe I'm insane. Keep doing the same things, thinking I'll change. I'm lazy in love, I don't do enough. I wanted to give you the best of me, but I got these tendencies.
And at first, I was like, oh, doesn't she sound a little bit like Sarah? And then we were listening, like, oh, like we could also potentially ask Sarah.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you know, like you're an artist, but you were telling us that you were mostly leaning in the songwriting
Right.
world. This is also pre-Songland and stuff. So
Right,
it was
totally.
like, we realized you guys like sounded similar. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to ask. And so Sarah and I went to a Thutmose show at Moroccan Lounge. And I was driving in my mom's Sienna, because that's the car I had. And I was like, I have this song that we wrote with Casey Cook, and it's great, and we really want you to sing on it. And I had one of those like FM transmitter aux cords
Okay.
in the car. Like I didn't have an aux cord, I had an FM receiver
Yeah.
thing. And I'll tell you, every commercial in the Los Angeles area played over our first demo of Tendencies.
I'm so sad about it. I let you
No.
It was like you got a little bit of the song in between like a Taco Bell commercial and a KFC commercial. Like it was so hard to actually hear that. So when it was done, and you know, it's not like I could like find a better, like, oh, can we listen again but on a better station or
Right.
whatever. We were already at the show. She was like, it's good. Like it's, you know, she was like being really nice about it, but like the song did not have any of the magic because there was no song to really be heard. Then we were working on our stuff. They were working on their record and all that. But when the quarantine hit, we were talking about like working on records, and she's like, well, hey, if you want to collaborate on anything, you know, let me know. And we're like, well, actually, I know I played this song terribly in my van, but here is here's
update.
an updated version. And she's like, I'm in, let's do it.
Love that.
And Mike actually from Transviolet mixed it.
Okay.
What was your reaction hearing her sing?
I mean, I thought she sounded great because we had kind of talked about the possibility of her being on it like back then, and I was like gung-ho about it because I was, at the time I was kind of more focused on the songwriting path. I wasn't really sure what my artist project looked like, and so at that point I was just like, yeah, let's write songs and let's get them out and have other people sing them and, you know, spread the word. So yeah, I was stoked. I was like gung-ho about her being on it the whole time, and then, you know, every time we follow up with it, you're like, no, like I think she's gonna be on. I think she's going on. Great, awesome, I can't wait. And then hearing it was like, that's perfect. It's a perfect match. So I'm stoked.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, and what's and you touched on it too. I think so many writers or artists like do have trouble trying to figure out the lines between like all that stuff.
100%.
We were artists first that became songwriters somewhat accidentally.
Yeah.
How do you find that you juggle those two worlds?
I definitely started out artist first and then kind of fell into songwriting. But I don't know. I just really enjoy like collaborating with great people and like writing amazing music. And I think that, I don't know, it's cool. Like as songwriters, you write a song and it can go in a totally different world than you ever saw yourself releasing it. It's kind of a gamble, I guess. But as of recently, I'm kind of I'm kind of leaning back more on the artist route because, like been here for a while and growing up, and why not kind of thing.
I feel that. And why not both? Like
Right.
there's nothing. I think what's also, we just had Axel on the show as well. Like what's cool about the sort of post Songland 2 thing is that it focuses on both sides, I think, as well. Like it's obviously a songwriting show.
Totally.
But also like everybody who is on as an artist in
Yeah.
their own right as well.
Yeah.
And I see the community that's sort of formed around that as well, which is really, really cool.
Yeah. I mean, the community of writers is just such a great bond. And I don't know, it's just cool. I love being a songwriter in the community. I get a lot of joy in writing songs for other people that feel good. And like the promise of where it could go is romantic to me, I guess.
Right.
I always like the fact
yeah.
that like any song could become anything. Like that's
Yeah.
always been the thing that makes
The
me
piano ballad that you write could be like an EDM banger next week.
Exactly.
It happens all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like dabbling in that world too. So I don't know, I'm kind of all over the map. at this
No,
point.
good. Better all over the map than like
Stuck in one place.
stuck in
Yeah.
one place.
Yeah.
Like my advice to anybody starting out in LA is just write a ton and just see where it goes
Yeah.
and talk to everybody and
Totally.
go out to everything. What would you tell somebody who's just sort of getting into it?
Literally what you just said, and study the people that you want to be like. Because I think that's been like a really big helper in my journey. Like I'm studying the music that I want to write and the music that I want to be a part of. And watch Songland, honestly. You learn so much. But yeah, just being like immersed in the industry in any way that you can, like get coffee with people and, go to shows when they come back.
Yeah.
Listen to podcasts. There's so many amazing resources out there. There's like no excuse for anything. And like myself included, it's like, keep learning. Why not?
There's a certain level of flexibility and an openness that comes with this territory. I mean, the openness for us to write together in the first place, the openness to spitball a line outside of a taco truck, the openness to try out another artist,
Yeah.
after the demo. Even like when Sarah was recording her ad libs, she had this one like the
And then it became like
A part.
a melody that we're like that. Let's repeat that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we then we retracked our gang vocals over that, and similarly, like we were about to send it out to Sarah, and we were like, well, what if we tried instead of, because it was originally like,
I got these tendencies.
Whoa. That's weird.
we spaced out tendencies in the
Yeah. Because I got these
yeah
tendencies.
we
Right,
did it
that's what
now.
we did
But
now.
that was the thing. It's like that had been our demo for 2 years, and then
Right.
like on a whim, we were like, should we try this other thing? And clearly, the other thing, I
Yeah,
guess,
clearly it stuck. At first, I was like, "This is weird. This is awkward." But now I can't. Couldn't even remember what the old version was.
demo love is real though. Let's
Demo
be
love
Oh,
is
it is so real.
when you touch a demo after like for the first time after like a year, it feels like sacrilege.
Dirty. It's like,
Yeah, yeah, it feels like you've done something
feels like
wrong.
you've done something wrong.
Yeah. It's like, I want to move this kick around. It's like, how dare
How
you?
dare
That kick
you?
has been there
Like,
for
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah, exactly.
It's planted, its roots, it's there.
But on the other side, I feel like there's also like with a song like "We're Fine" that we've been sitting on for like literally years, and like had a sort of like rough, really scrappy demo production for a really long time. There's like a moment when you break through the demo love and you move enough stuff around that you're like, oh, like this could be anything. Like
Yeah.
this could be an entirely new thing, and that's always really exciting when you like pass the hurdle of the thing that you're attached to and you break through the other side and you're like, oh, this could be like even better. Like this could like when you pass that feeling of like different is bad to like different is really, really good. Like
Yeah.
that's one of the most exciting parts of the
Like
production
take the
process
best
for me.
parts and make it even better.
Well, and let it be informed too by like what you've been listening, like we've been recording a lot of gang vocals in general. So now we add that to Tendencies. Like
Yeah.
we didn't necessarily know how to end it, but
I think the fact that we've been listening to "Ain't It Fun" pretty much every day for like months definitely informed something
the
about
fade out,
something
at the
about
end.
tendencies.
no, and similarly, it's about the people that you're with. Like, if when somebody like Sarah, sings a really, really great melody and gives it her all as an ad lib, you listen. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if Ryan Tedder gives you, you know, feedback on a song, doesn't matter if the song's 5 years old.
Yeah.
Like that's,
You got to at least listen.
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
at least take it into consideration.
Totally.
you know, it's like, I don't like that kick there. It's just like, who are you to say?
It's been there for years.
It's been there for years. I like the idea of it, like a song being like a temple that you can't
Yeah.
touch the furniture.
Yeah.
You know, just like, you want to get rid of the piano?
That is actually a really good metaphor.
That piano's
Yeah.
been there longer than you've been born.
That's true.
How do you fight demo love? I think for us, we Hail Mary in the weirdest direction possible just to sort of break the trance of it, you know?
I mean, I struggle with demoitis. I am a true demoitis person. But I guess maybe it just depends on what it becomes next. Like, because you're so used to hearing it a certain way and loving that version, as simple as it is, maybe just the next version, if you don't like those certain parts, like fix it.
No, I like the idea of like, if you start at the small fixes, then you get in the habit of fixing the whole, you know, the sort
Yeah.
of whole thing, you know?
Right.
Like if you can't touch it, then you can't touch it. But if it's like, okay,
Yeah, if you're once
I change-
you're fiddling with
Yeah.
it, then it's like you know, you're
Right.
making progress, even if it's in the wrong direction for a bit.
Yeah. And then maybe just trying to like close your eyes and seeing it in this new frame completely,
Yeah.
maybe.
I think I have two more questions. And all these questions are really off the. Actually, I have 3 questions, and they're all really off the dome. You know, they're all
Yeah.
thinking about the song and what kind of questions that come from it. But I think the first is so much of being a songwriter is getting to know the artist pretty quickly, like getting comfortable in a space with the artist. How do you like to do that best? Like, how do you get into that? Like for us, we'll sit on the balcony, we'll walk around, like how do you like to sort of get to know the artist? And also, do you remember what it was like meeting us for the first time and trying to work with us for the first time?
Yeah. I think, in any session, you just wants to be good vibes. So like whatever it takes to get there, whether it's talking about how your week is or what your day has been like. If you're hungry, love getting food because that's a great bonding experience, you know?
Yeah.
And just kind of just treating it like a date, honestly. Like you want it to go well. So you just want to be yourself and encourage the other person to be themselves. And then there's automatically this like sacred space that you have now bonded and formed. And now you can openly create and there's going to be no real like egos in the way or something like that. I think that's really important. Just being open and honest and being yourself and like, yeah, just letting it flow. I love asking like where people are from and like how they got their start or, something maybe like, I don't know, just random questions that just
What's
make
the worst
you
breakup
feel
you've
good.
ever had?
Yeah. What keeps
I
you
like
up at night?
I like asking the questions that make people feel really sad. I'm like, what what was the meanest thing somebody that you've been in love with has said to you? Like,
Oh, that's actually a great question.
How did it feel when your parents left?
oh my god.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys feel the same way? Like,
Yeah, no, I feel, and I throw this joke around a lot that like, part of our job is making trauma catchy. So like you gotta create a space where you can talk candidly about things. Because I don't like writing songs that don't have some kind of skin in the game.
Yeah.
Like we've written plenty of like happy songs, like whatever, but like I feel like I think any happy song is an earned song, and any sad song has to be felt. Like that, I a happy song you get to like you find happiness on a journey that took something.
yeah.
And a sad song is reflecting on something that you should feel and should still connect to.
Yeah.
And so I find that like I like the origin stories because I feel like finding why somebody got into music is really, because it's a weird job, and I feel like
Yeah.
it takes a very specific person and a specific origin story to kind of get there.
Right.
But then I like to, if I can get to a comfortable point where we can talk about relationships kind of candidly, whether that's with like family members or with friends or romantic, because that's when you get to what's universal and specific. Like, how did this, where did this fall apart specifically? And how does that relate to things falling apart broadly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I guess on that note, yeah. Do you remember like your impressions of us when we started out? Because I remember just thinking you were awesome. Like you were throwing out melodies that were awesome, and just like we were making. I think we were being really goofy that day, so we were making jokes.
Yeah,
and
you were being goofy
making
for
jokes.
sure. Yeah, I mean, I think we had a good vibe like going in. One of us was hungry, or all of us was hungry, and then we just tried to figure out where we should go for a minute, and then walked around. And then as soon as we got food in our stomachs, we're like, okay, cool, this is good. I think like for me, sometimes I like to just get right into a session, and I didn't really like totally go for the food vibe right away. Like I would rather start the session and like feel like I'm working on something and then get food. But in this case, like, you know, food was essential, and it let us have the fuel to like actually create. So that's been something I'm like learning throughout this whole process. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just like good. And then we were talking a lot, and then we like moved to the porch patio area and kept talking there. And it's cool to remember that the session sometimes doesn't need to happen like right in the session room. Like it can happen through a ton of conversations for like 5 hours sometimes. And then all of this information is like brewing in our system. And then we sit down and we're like, okay, here we go. And we have all this stuff to pull from our conversations through the past 5 hours. So I don't know. It's all different.
You know, you were saying like people should be listening to podcasts and gleaning what they can from other writers. And I think that was actually really game changing for me was hearing Benny Blanco on And the Writer Is talk about how, you know, he'll spend like, you know, 11 hours in a session just going go-karting and like playing games and hanging out, and then the song happens in 30 minutes.
Right.
And I when I heard that, I'm like, oh, like I'm not a weirdo. Like I thought I was just an unprofessional piece of shit. Like I thought because I just don't love first sessions. I feel a pressure in them that like I don't think I like work with particularly well. They're always just a bit draining on me. Just and I don't show it usually, but like I definitely have a harder time. And so all I want the moment that a first session starts, it doesn't matter who with, like it's not on you or like anybody, but the moment that a first session starts, all I want to be doing is literally anything else.
Right.
And that is where the writing happens for me, I feel.
Oh.
Because when I'm not thinking, oh, like, does this person think I'm all right? Do I think this person's all right? Like instead of like thinking about the room and the people and the writing and the process, I'm like, what do I actually want to talk about today? And how can this person make that happen? Or how can I make that happen for this person?
Yeah.
You know? So that's why I think I'm always hungry at
Yeah.
sessions, because like that's my response to like stress is like I'm a stress eater, you know?
Right.
So I'm like,
Oh,
cool, I'm hungry.
food's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime.
So yeah, I mean, I think I've gotten better, obviously, in the last 2 years with that feeling. But you know, like I was still pretty new to songwriting when we first started writing. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, first session, sitting down, pen, we're writing now. I'm
Right.
gonna get a taco.
Right.
I think my like query with that as well is like when you do like double sessions, like I've stopped kind of doing the double session life, but you know, you want to like cram in a certain amount of time to like get a song done. But I do think that the food part is important because it's bonding and it's good. But yeah, when you're on that like routine of the just getting sessions done.
The Nashville mentality is let's write 3 songs
Yeah.
in one session,
Right.
Right. Totally.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly just depends on like what the vibe of everyone is. Like, I've done that where we've just written like hooks and written like 5, not 5, maybe like 4 hooks, and then come back to that later on. Because if you're just in that mood, like,
Right.
you know, if you want to crank them out, you want to crank them out. If you want to just write one song, maybe not even like finish the second verse, but like have a really great, solid melody and concept and structure, it's all relative. So
I feel like my brain is like an incredibly slow like search engine. Like I feel like it's like Ask Jeeves circa 2003.
oh my god.
You know, where like I'll import like all of this information about, you know, how the person in the room's feeling or how I'm feeling or like whatever, and then it whirs on that for like a half hour, just sort of circling around, and then it comes, and then it's all there. but it takes like I have to like feed it and then let it like sit for a second and like load on like the dial-up network until it's there. So yeah, I have a I feel like it's a weird process, but I appreciate I think the reason why we worked out is because you were flexible, you were open to like a different kind of session energy. I feel like
Yeah.
there have been plenty of people we've ridden with who have not necessarily vibe with that, and it just turns into like pulling teeth in the session.
Yeah.
That's
know?
the worst. That's literally the
Yeah.
worst. So yeah.
My second question is, what do you hope people kind of get out of Tendencies? Like my hope is people are driving down the highway just like blasting it, and
Yeah.
and kind of enjoying it and singing along through the fade out as I do with Ain't It Fun?
I don't know. I think it's a great song. It's fun. It's fun to sing along to. It's catchy. I don't know. I think they're gonna like it. I think they're gonna like it a lot.
So my last question is just broadly, what are you looking forward to?
That is broad. I'm looking forward to, oh my gosh, a lot of things. I just feel like this pandemic has really made me like appreciate sessions, shows, people, hugs. I mean, you name it. It's been good like reflection time, but it's been hard. I'm looking forward to a lot of songs coming out. I've got a lot in the works with a lot of people, and like everything's just very delayed at the moment. But I think that this time has given me like, some good creative juices to get back into. And, I'm still learning this production situation. But I think that's going to be really beneficial in like creating my own demos now. And I don't know, I'm looking forward to a lot of stuff. I really miss like just our normal day-to-day lives. I feel like we've lost a lot of time, but also gained a lot of perspective. So I don't know. I'm really looking forward to just being with friends again and being in just camaraderie of people. I don't know. What about you guys?
To that note, I feel like we're almost going to be like rediscovering our friends when we get out of this. Like,
Yeah.
sort of, because there are some people who, I guess we're sort of friends by circumstance or friends by, or friends before the quarantine who have had transformative experiences in the quarantine and now are just slightly different. We're all just slightly different.
Slightly
Everyone's got a new
different.
skill.
Everybody knows how to make bread now.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm obviously looking forward to this song coming out and for different plans to come out, because it's just nice that these songs get to have life. I'm looking forward to writing with you again. You know,
Yeah.
I think that just listening to Tendencies just reminded me of how fun that session was, and when we can go back to doing sessions.
Yeah, seriously.
Always down for new songs on the horizon. But yeah, I think personally, I'm looking forward to figuring out what I need. I think that, I was running around and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden the quarantine happened, and I had to figure out what my priorities were in that. And now that I know that, I guess I know what I need, and now it's like, how does that gel with the rest of the world?
Yeah.
I think I just want to know how I gel with a world, because I do think I feel different.
Yeah.
As I imagine a lot of people do.
Yeah. I mean, going from running around doing a bunch of sessions per week to time off has been crazy, but maybe necessary for us to figure out like what we really want in life and like what that looks like, and working towards those goals to make that happen, and not just doing the rat race because you think you need to do it. And like getting more specific about what you actually want and going after it, because I feel like that's the hardest part. Is like you see this thing that you want, but there's all these steps to do it, and if you don't do it, you won't ever get there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Just having this conversation has made me very specifically miss writing in a way that I haven't really thought about in a while. Just talking about like going in with someone, even a first session that carries its own kind of stress and pressure. Like I kind of like would like that right now. It would be nice to just like experience something new after.
I just want to feel something.
I just want to feel after months and months of like the same thing every day, like being in the same room,
Right.
and working on the same tasks. Like I miss the chaos of like, oh, okay, who do we have this week? Oh, we're doing this session and we're doing this session, and like just like having new things happen
And keep you in a routine. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah, just a fun kind of routine. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing people again and finishing this record and finishing more records.
Yeah.
And hugs. You said hugs. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
oh
miss
my
the
God.
hugs.
Yeah, right?
The hugs. I mean, come on. I miss that so much.
Well, to the better days ahead.
Yes.
And Casey, thank you for writing an awesome song with us years ago. Thank you for sticking it out with us as it came together the way
Of
the way that
course.
it did.
Yeah.
I want to shout out Sarah too for being on the song
Yeah.
and being an awesome team player on that, and also to shout out to Jacob Herlick, who we played him like a late demo of the song, and he was like, I'm just gonna track drums tomorrow and you're gonna have them.
Yeah.
So shout out to everybody who and Mike who mixed it, and Eric who mastered it. And
Yes.
so,
Thank
yeah,
you, everyone, a part of this
Yeah.
song.
shout out to everybody who had a hand in this song, and thank you for coming on the show today, Casey.
Of course. Thank you, guys. I'm so excited.
We would like to thank Alan C. for supporting Talking Lion on Patreon and Isotope.